I'm leaving the table now. And they go, are you guys being trafficked?
I told them I don't like the table. I don't like dealers. I feel like they're out to get you. Like, I don't like it at all.
When you put all of your March Madness winnings on black and it hits green. And he was like, ah. He was like,
Changing 100, Season 1, Episode 4. There you go.
perfect. So the what the fuck updates of the week.
Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Yeah, no, I'll start because mine took me off guard. End of my night, very end of the night, sent home a girl in the roulette pit. I had like 8 minutes left of my shift. In roulette, spin the ball. Some guy like runs up, puts a $25 chip in between the two zeros, and looks at me and goes, "Green, you bitch." And I was like, in shock, blacked out. Like, I'm just like, was that me? So I had it been me. My brain was moving 1,000 miles an hour, but my body went still. I was like, that had to have been a me. Was that a me? I was like, it's a fucking 253. Why is he yelling at me? And I was like, wait a second. I was like, he's definitely not going to talk like that to me at my table right when I'm about to end the shift. So I went, bloop, waved the table, said no more bets, flicked it back to him. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, like I just get a little crazy. You know, I've been drinking. I just like looked at him and I was like, what just happened? Like literally, I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, if I hadn't flicked it back to you and waved the table, like I didn't even say anything to him. I didn't even look at him. I just was like, wait a second. That was definitely directed at me.
Right.
So I like flicked it back, waved the table. But I was like, if I hadn't flicked it back at you, would you have apologized to me?
Right. Would you have retracted your statement?
Probably not. And here I am. I'm tired. I'm like, all right, it's my 6th day working. Like, I'm ready to go home. And then that's how you're going to end my night?
Oh, yeah. I would have been pissed.
I was,
no.
I think I was totally, my body went paralyzed. My brain was moving 1,000 miles. I went into shock.
Yeah, you froze?
I went into shock. And I was like, wait a second. And then after that, he was like, fine. And he was playing.
Why?
Like, I didn't like, I was like, I'm not about to make this a big deal. I'm about to go home. Fuck this. Like, whatever. If you want to act that way, that's fine. But you're not going to bet. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to give you a chance to win.
You're like, I have to set some boundaries here now.
Yeah. But I was just like, what?
What in the world?
And I think maybe if I was like, did you just hit me? Like, then it would have been a big thing. But I think because I didn't say anything and I was just like, yeah, no. And I like flicked it off the table and then waved it. And I just like stepped back and watched my table to make sure nobody took advantage of
You're just standing there like
mentally
perplexed.
and physically and emotionally. I was like, let me just make sure nobody else takes advantage of me. And I didn't say anything to him. And then he was like, oh, like, I'm sorry. I just get a little crazy. And his friend was like, hey, like, he didn't mean it. And I was like, clearly. Because you don't just go up to somebody and say,
some random stranger
you
at
bitch.
work.
I was like, what if I went up
Yell
to
at
your,
an
like,
employee.
your little call center job? And I said, discount, you bitch. Like,
Yeah.
how would you have felt? Like, these are, like, our jobs, people. You know, like, that's what people don't think about. They're like, Vegas, crazy, wild, what happens in Vegas days. No, these are people's everyday lives.
Yeah, we're working. We are at work.
Yes. So that was one of my what the fuck updates this week.
That's how, it's amazing how desensitized you are to it. Because new dealers, or even confrontational people, you know, but not even, because I can be confrontational. I'm sure you can be too. Like you said, you could have been like, what did you say? But I think when you've been dealing for so long and just in this type of industry, you're kind of just like, nah.
Yeah, see, I was like,
it's not even worth my time. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's not my
even
night.
worth-
Like, I'm good. Like,
not
I was
even
like,
worth
it's
it.
not, I'm not going to call security. They're doing the drop. Like, floor, the graveyard just came. We're not going to, I'm just not. It's not worth it. I'm just not. You're welcome
Right?
that I didn't. And you got to enjoy the rest of your night. But for me, I was just like, whatever.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Point, yeah. Wild. Do you have anything good for this week?
All right. This one is pretty quick and it's kind of funny when it happened. This couple is on 3 card. I tap into the table. They're drunk and they're not a couple. They're friends. But they're touchy-feely. They're, like, laughing into each other and stuff like that, and they're playing. And the girl starts to get really friendly, and she's like, I love you girls. You guys are amazing. When I'm a billionaire, I'm going to come in here and give you guys so much money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, cool, love it. Awesome, great. Yeah, for sure. And then she goes, you want to know how we met? Right, she points to herself and the guy, and I go, sure. Right? I'm like, okay, tell me. I'm here for an hour. We met at rehab. And they're drunk.
Doing a great job.
So I'm standing there, and same thing. I'm processing because I'm like, you guys are so wasted. You met in rehab, and now I'm like, tell me more. So I'm like, rehab. She goes, yeah, you know that rehab in Malibu that all the celebrities go to?
Wow.
And then he tries to diffuse it, and he goes, it's more like a spa, a retreat. And I was like, uh-huh. And I look at her and I go, so how did that go?
I would have been like, so you went with all the celebrities went, so y'all were doing some hard shit, huh?
Right? Like
celebrities do hard shit. So y'all were
she starts doing where Lindsay Lohan went, where Ben Affleck went, where all those celebrities go, right? And okay, weird brag, but okay, cool.
You're in rehab. You might as well go to the one you can brag about, right?
I guess. And then this guy's over here saying it was a spa retreat, but which is what I hear most of the time, right? That one Malibu. What is it called? I know the name. I think everybody knows the name. Okay, anyways. Then she goes, yeah, so we found out. She's like, I haven't talked to him in a couple of years since we left. And she goes, and then we found out we were both coming to Vegas at the same time. And we messaged each other. And she was like, I told him we might as well like get together while we're there. And he chimes into the story now. Now he's involved.
Okay, good. He's got a voice.
He's like, might as well get in on this. He goes, yeah, so I shot her a text while I was on the plane right before we took off here. And he said, I got to confess, I had a couple drinks. And she goes, yeah. And then I told him I had mimosas this morning, so we're fine. It's like, oh no.
The bonds.
Oh no.
You know what? Maybe they'll like get married in rehab. Maybe they'll go back together.
They'll go back there. They'll have their ceremony there. Have all the celebrities.
Ooh, so fun. That's wild.
She was so nice. She tipped a lot. She was drunk. I don't think she knew what she was doing. But I was just like, I got off that table and I immediately, like, whoever I was walking to go on break, I was just like, I gotta tell you what just happened, because it's just like, what?
Oh God,
that was the first time that's happened to me, where somebody openly admitted that they were in rehab and now they're completely wasted in Vegas with the guy they met in rehab. Okay.
Wild.
Why? Right?
I wonder how they like randomly were just like, oh, we haven't talked, but we ended up in Vegas together.
I want to say like Instagram, maybe they posted
social
something
media or something. That would make sense.
And honestly, when I saw her, because what we talked about in the last episode, where you can kind of tell like if somebody comes for money, if somebody has money. And when I saw her, and kind of him, but not really, I was like, she looks familiar. Is she on a reality show? Is she a model? Like, she looks like somebody I've seen, and what she was wearing, and the Cartier bracelet, right? And the bag and all that stuff. And I'm like, who are you? And then that happened. Then immediately my wheels start spinning. I'm like, you
didn't ask what they did for a living?
No.
I've been like, what do you do?
No, she was talking and I was just letting her talk.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get to that point.
Maybe you saw her in the background of a photo of a celebrity at rehab.
Maybe,
you know.
She had that energy too. You know that energy those people have, those reality show people have? She had that energy. So I was just like, who are you? But anyways, yeah, that was my what the fuck.
Interesting.
Sad for people in recovery, but hopefully they're okay.
Kind of like a fun, peppy what the fuck though.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a what the fuck.
They were having a great time. And I wasn't about to ruin that for them. I wasn't going to be the one to intervene and be like, are you guys okay?
Right.
Like,
clearly they had each other.
They what?
They had each other.
They did have each other. So in this episode, I want to talk about uniforms. We touched on it a little bit in the first episode because that was our intro episode, blah, blah, blah. What do you think about it? Since this is your party pit, your first dealing job, what were your expectations?
So I knew what we were going to look like before I applied for the job because it was COVID. It was like application. I was applying just everywhere to get a job. because I got laid off. They got rid of my department and knew I wasn't going to go back to anything. So I was just applying everywhere. Applied to the job, Googled it to see what they wore, saw a few different pictures. And then me and my husband actually went to the casino so I could see what it was like. So I had already applied, but I knew it. Personally, I'm not a fan. I just think they're a little outdated.
But how did you feel when you saw them? Were you, like, I want to know what your impression was of it. Like, this is a thing?
Oh, no. Like, I had been working at strip clubs by that point, like where girls are literally in corsets and underwear. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't like in shock of the uniform itself, you know, like I had friends who would deal like private poker parties topless. Like, you know, I was like, did like private cocktailing events where I'm in like little outfits. Like, I wasn't like,
You weren't like shocked.
I wasn't shocked by the outfit. No, I think it's a little outdated. I think in the early 2000s, that was the hottest outfit. Like, to date, you know, like people walked in there and they were like, dang, these girls are cute.
I want that outfit.
I think we could have really cute themed uniforms that we're not taking advantage of.
That's the companies across the board, though.
Yeah, I think they're just like older men. Like, it works. We got girls. It's fine.
Same societal problem we have in every industry. Right. We got the old guys controlling the things at the bottom. Yeah.
We'd be in charge and we could like, it'd be so cute.
When I first came to Vegas and learned about Party Pit, I was kind of like, I went to the Nugget first. So I went and did the same thing. I was like, I need to go see what they wear. And I went and I was like, oh, that's not bad. And then I got hired at Harrah's in Rio. And then the uniform got smaller and smaller and a little bit more scandalous. And I was just like, oh, cuter. But I think, the opportunity to have really cute ones like Harrah's and Rio. Rio was a corset with a top hat. It was themed. That was the theme. And then same thing at Harrah's. Their theme there is they have the Country X show there. So their Party Pit was country. So it was little red crop tops, jeans, like with your butt hanging out, booty shorts, fishnets, and then cowboy boots. And we could wear our own cowboy boots, which means then we could show our personality a little bit with our cowboy boots. Yeah. And going from that and then working at the Nugget, which is a very classic uniform, very outdated. And I'm just like, why can't we get a flattery uniform? Why are there so many missed opportunities with theming things? It's so, like, why are we missing these opportunities? The clothes we wear are not expensive, first of all. It's not going to be
cheap
huge.
China shits, like, mass produced. Like, I think we could wear, like, cute little crop top, referee, black and white stripes that have a deep V so girls can hike up their tits if they want to, or if they're self-conscious about it, not hike them up. Like, then we could wear our own black booty shorts.
That's what I think booty shorts are where it's at.
Black fishnets. Yeah. So cute.
Yeah. Simple, cheap,
complimentary, themed. It could just be so much better. I do like, I said in the first episode, I like Plain Hollywood's uniforms.
Yeah, the corset.
Black corset, black little shorty shorts, black fishnets. It's complimentary on everyone. It looks very sleek. It's very slimming. It looks the same on everyone. Yeah.
One of my favorite things, and this is a mixture of just a party pit and the environment and what we wear, is do you notice when people walk into the building and they're not expecting to see us and you just watch them walk through with like their mouths open and they're just looking and then the phones start to come out?
Yes, the phones. Just last night in the break room, we were talking about how sometimes people are like, how do you feel about that outfit?
Oh, one guy came up to the table. He comes up. He's not playing. He goes, he motions his hand over his chest and he goes, do you have to wear that? Like, you got to wear that? For fun. And I was just like, yeah. Like, what?
Were you like, do you not see all of us? Are you just looking at me? Thank you, kind sir. But are you?
The hand motion across the chest. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I've gotten that a couple times. Like, do you like wearing that? Or like, how do you feel about wearing that outfit at work? And I always go, I wish it was smaller. That's my response.
That's a good answer.
I wish it was smaller.
sometimes I just go, yeah, this is the most comfortable uniform I've ever had. And people are blown away. I love that. I love watching people come in and they're just so jaw dropped. What is going on in here? You got these girls dealing and dancing and half naked and then they come up to your table and they just start asking you all the questions.
Right.
Do you like wearing that?
Yeah.
Do you have to dance? Do you guys all have to dance? Last night, this is gonna be funny. Last night, I tap into a table and they asked me do you all have to dance? And I go, yeah, we all have to dance. Everyone wearing this uniform dances. And they go, yeah, because some of the girls don't look very happy dancing. And I go, yeah, it happens. They're, everyone has their night. I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus, right? I gotta give the politically correct answer. I go, yeah, we all have our days. Sometimes you don't want to be at work. And then I'm leaving the table now, and they go, are you guys being trafficked? And I looked at her, and I was like, no, we're not. And she was like, well, because some of these girls really look miserable. And I was like, we're not being trafficked. We're safe. We're fine. Thank you. Have a good night. Good luck, guys.
I hate our job. I hate our casino so much. The fact that that's what people think.
That should have been a what the fuck update. I don't think that's
I am bewildered.
Yeah. Are you being trafficked?
Because they look that miserable.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I need to get
We're now talking about it. It sprung back up into my memory.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is bonkers. I did have someone one time say, I'd rather all these miserable girls get me drinks than be on the box dancing. And he's like, I haven't had a drink in a whole hour and a half. And you have all these girls on the box who clearly don't want to be there. They could be bringing me a drink. And I was like,
honestly, I wish we could.
Honestly, I'd rather do that.
Right? I'd rather be able to run drinks if...
That's what I was saying. I was like, that would actually be a great system because imagine every 20 minutes. So you get tapped off at the hour. But there's 3 tables, so it's every 20 minutes. You do your 3 tables. You go around the 3-table string that you're in, take everyone's drink order, bring them drinks, go on break. So the faster you bring drinks, the faster you go on break.
Yeah.
So that way people are getting drink orders taken every 20 minutes on the 20 minutes. So at 6:20, 6:40, 7 o'clock, every 20 minutes, drink orders are being taken. We have more opportunity to make money. And then you don't have to stare at these miserable girls who are step touching on the box, or if even doing that.
Yeah.
That's a good business model.
Oof, yeah. It's a struggle sometimes.
It is. That's crazy. Just thought we were being trafficked. What the fuck?
We were talking about the last episode where I kind of froze for a split second because I had to assess, are you being serious?
Yeah, you have to wait.
And then I just kind of wrote it off as them joking.
You are much nicer than I am. I'm going to start saying that. Everyone has their days.
Yeah, well,
just because how I respond is not that nice.
Because I know it happens, but I wouldn't want somebody to be like, oh yeah, she's always miserable. I don't want to be that person.
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm going to kind of pivot into something different that we haven't done. So I'm going to play a clip. This clip is from the Girls Next Level podcast, Holly and Bridget from the Girls Next Door show. Playboy, all that. Bridget is telling a story about how she played blackjack. I think maybe for the first time. I'll play the clip so you guys can hear it.
Because we have an hour to kill before we have to go to this party. And I say in an interview that I've only once sat at a casino table before, and I was not the one playing. I was just watching somebody else playing. And Hef said he would like $500 chip for each girl that's playing. And after this experience, I never ever wanted to do it again in my life. I was so scared to sit there, and there's a shit ton of people around us, so many people watching. And then all of a sudden, my turn was skipped. And you guys, I'm not fucking around about this. They fucking skipped my turn. And then he takes my chip because I lost. I did not do anything. I did not say, no, I don't want a card. Yes, I want a card. It's all on camera. And he fucking skips my turn and takes my card. And I was like, they said, well, you waved. He said, the dealer says, you waved me off. And I said, I never waved you off. And this is on fucking camera. I am not waving anybody off.
I wonder if he's nervous because he's on camera and flubbed.
They switched out the dealer immediately.
Oh my God.
I was so pissed. And after that, I was like making sure that I like whatever your thing is. Like I was making a big deal about doing it. I'm still pissed today about this. Nick wanted me to like play at a table with him. And I told him I don't like the table. I don't like dealers. I feel like they're out to get you. Like I don't like it at all. I don't want to do it. He made me do it. I just like froze and like had like total PTSD. I know it sounds dumb, but like I do not ever want to play at a table.
That's awful.
Awful.
Awful. Here's what I think happens. I think the dealer was doing basic strategy,
Mm-hmm.
had a low card. She had whatever she had, probably a 2-digit hands. And he was like, she shouldn't hit it, and skipped her.
Or he did the thing that we get a lot is he was like, she doesn't know what she's doing. I'm going to do
play
it for
hand
her.
For her.
Mhm.
Skipped her. And then boom.
I think that's what happened too. Also, it could have been what I think Holly said. Maybe he was nervous because you have a crew of cameras. It was the #1 rated show on E! At the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you have these celebrities. You have Hugh Hefner sitting at your table. You have a camera crew. You have hundreds of people now crowding the table because they know they're all there. Maybe he got nervous. I also think maybe she did accidentally wave it off and didn't know, which then again, up to the dealer to really be like, did you want to wave it? Right?
Yeah.
Especially if they're sitting at the table and you
Right.
hear her kind of, as a dealer, you kind of have to like gauge what your player is like, right?
Right.
So if I'm like, oh, she really doesn't know what's going on, I'm going to take a beat and be like, did you wave it off or did you want to take a card, right?
Yeah.
But that's just me. Awful. That is so bad.
It's so bad. And they're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to play your hand. And I've seen dealers play people's hands for them.
Yes.
And they do the same thing. They're like, what the fuck? What just happened?
Yes.
And it gives them a terrible experience. You're not supposed to do it. You can get in trouble as a dealer. Clearly he did because he got taken off the table right away. They put in
Yeah.
a new dealer. Wow, $500? I'm not playing anybody's hand for $500. Like,
Hell no.
you playing $15 minimums, you ask me questions, I can tell you're kind of new. I'm just like, meh.
Right. Right.
You know, like, you're playing purple chips?
Purple chips.
Eye contact.
Right.
Are you waving this?
I'm
Or are you hitting this?
shadowing everything you do to
Yes.
verify.
Yes.
If you're doing this, I'm doing this with you. If you're tapping, I'm tapping the table with you
Yes.
because once we're getting up to purple chips, I need to make sure everything is clear for the cameras just in case there is a mistake. If something happens, I need the camera. I need to protect myself, right? I have to protect the game.
I would assume that they would have like a floor hit boss manager there watching.
You know how that happens sometimes. It's like this that one time your floor looks the other way and then something
Blinks.
just happens. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that sucks. I feel bad for her. What a terrible experience.
What terrible, because we're over here talking about how we're party pins and we party and we're like having a good time and we're talking to our players and they're money's flying everywhere.
It's so
and,
fun.
And
Oh my
then I heard
God.
that because I listened to
And
that
gambling
show.
is so fun.
It can be so fun.
I always have a great time when I go do
Yeah.
that. I mean, when I play.
So it's just like, yeah, I heard that part and I was like, oh, I need to talk about this because that sucks. That is not. I've never had an experience like that as a player or as a dealer,
Yeah.
right? To have such a bad taste in my mouth for sitting at a table and for her to be her second time
Yeah.
and have it be on camera. Ugh. And I
See,
think
and she's like, never again.
yeah, she said never again.
Never again.
So I'm going to call her out. Bridget. Look right into the camera. Bridget, if you want to have a good time, come see us. We're not going to treat you like that.
Right.
We're going to make sure you have a good time.
Mhm.
You don't have to bet purples.
Table minimum.
Table minimum, $15. Let's just have a good time. We're just there to have a good time.
Yes. There to have a good time, learn the game, have more fun.
And Holly, too, if you want to come and just hang out and have some
Yeah.
drinks.
Oh, man, that's so sad. Definitely not allowed as a dealer. Yeah, especially $500. I don't know. Maybe he was just the wrong dealer for the cameras and the tension and the pressure that was happening.
Maybe.
Because if it was me, I would have been like,
I would have been laser
on
focused.
top of my
Yeah.
game. Like, yeah, same, like shadowing everything. I feel like the dealer probably, because I see this all the time, like dealers will just play basic strategy for you.
Oh, I watch dealers
All the time.
hit for players. They're
Not just
not
at our
even-
casino, everywhere.
yeah, they're not even looking at the player.
Mm-mm.
And they're just click, click, click. And I'm like, 3 cards came out of there and I did not see a signal. They didn't even look at the player. They just got up to 12,
Yes.
right? And now they're looking at the player like, what do you want to do? And I'm just like, oh, okay.
And then, oh God, yeah. Yes. Have you ever seen like a dealer do that and then go to the next guy and he doesn't do anything and he's like, are you staying?
Yeah.
Are you hitting it?
The player goes back and goes.
The player's like, are you done? Like, and the guy's like,
I guess, right? The guy's like, I guess
shit,
I'm
I
done.
guess so.
I guess I'm supposed to stay here.
I was at Cosmo one time playing, and it was like a double down hand, but it wasn't like the best double down. And I didn't want to do it. And I like went to just take a card, and she wouldn't give one to me.
The dealer? I hate that too.
And I was like,
it. I don't
and
like
she
it
just like stood there. She was like,
when the dealer's that insistent.
and I was like, oh, you want me to double? She's like, it's a double hand. And I was like, but I doubled it and I lost. I wasn't mad because I'm a big girl and I make my own decisions.
Right.
Like, I didn't have to double that hand.
But you kind of look at the dealer, you kind of make eye contact, and you're like,
I was like, wow. But she like wouldn't give it to me.
Yeah. I don't like that either. When the dealer,
she like slid it out and was like rubbing it on the table, like,
yeah, like, what are you gonna do?
And I was like,
I know I'm
clearly
supposed to double.
I don't want to double.
I don't want to.
I can't remember exactly what the hand was, but it wasn't like, I think she had like a 2, like a 10, or like a 9. I think I must have had a 9. But it was like, it was a double hand technically, but I was like, you can get a good hand with a 2.
A 2's a wild card.
2s are crazy. Like,
yeah.
I was like, 9 isn't great. If I had an 11, I would have done it off the bat. But I was like, 9, I can go both ways. Like, what if I hit a 2?
Right.
I want to hit that again.
Yeah.
And then I ended up losing the hand. And I was just like, whatever. But I knew it in my head. In my head, I was like, see, fuck, like, I know what I'm doing.
Nothing is worse than when someone doubles a 9 and you flip, and they want it face down, you flip it to 2. There's nothing worse than that.
Oh my God. When that happens, I flip it. I'll put it down.
Sometimes if I deliver it, if they say face up, I'll put it face up, and I'm like, no, we don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
We got to play this out.
Or I'll be like, you should just get it face down. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because it's always bigger when it's down. It's always a better card when it's face down. No, I hate that. That's sad. That's a terrible experience. I've had some really bad experience with some dealers on the strip. Like, just because they're old and they're grumpy and like they're not very social. And then they're like, she's young and dumb and blonde, and someone else is paying for her hand, and she doesn't know what she's doing, and like whatever.
It sucks. It's
such a
suck.
Yeah,
sucks.
That's so sad.
It is.
It makes me sad for her that she's like never again. Because gambling is so fun. Like, it's fun to go play at the table and take shots with your friends, and like if you have a good dealer, it's a good time.
It is, and I think at the same way that, like I say, we get treated a little bit different. We get treated like we're dumb sometimes. She was already dealing with that.
Yeah.
Because of what she does as a Playboy model and Hugh Hefner's girlfriend, and everyone thinks they're stupid and they're only with him for money and all that stuff. But she was like, I think she has her master's and like all this the same situation where just going off of face value of her, you think she's a dumb blonde. So I'm sure when that happened to her, it just like nail or knife, like just digging in, like just solidifying what people think of you. I would have been frustrated too. I would have been so mad.
When people ask me, I'm like, basic strategy tells you this. Personally, I would do this. Yeah. But it's whatever you want to do.
Right. I always do that. Same thing.
I always go like, because you got to protect yourself with the cameras, right?
You're not supposed to tell them what to do.
Whatever you want to do. So I'm always like, whatever you want to do, or I'll be like,
oh my God. You know what I learned? And I've been using this for everyone, and everyone loves me that I tell them this. When a dealer has a 2, and people never know what to do if they have a 12 or a 13. And somebody taught me this, because this is the book. They say the 2-year-old hits the 2-year-old. The 3-year-old doesn't hit the 2-year-old. And then if you have a 3 as the dealer, the 2-year-old hits the 3-year-old. So the younger one.
2-year-olds hit 13s?
The younger one hits the older one, but the older one doesn't hit the younger one.
So someone told me that one time. They were like, because it was like he had a 13 and I had a 2. And he was like, okay, well, a 3-year-old would get in trouble for hitting a 2-year-old, but a 2-year-old doesn't get in trouble for hitting a 3-year-old because they're little, right? And so he's like, so I don't hit this. I was like, solid. But I remember the guy I think I talked about last episode who like holds my record for like the most amount of money I've made in the smallest amount of time.
Yeah.
He was like one of my biggest high rollers. He doubled 12s on a 2.
Ooh.
Every time.
Every time?
Doubled it. If I had a 2, he had a 12, he doubled it. And he'd be like, listen, it's either going to be me or you. I might as well make some money. And now I do that shit.
Oh,
And
okay.
it drives the table crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, double. And they're like, this is a 12, ma'am. And I'm like, correct. Hard 12, double on a hard 12.
Yep. Doubling on a hard
But he
12.
kills it. Like, he kills it. Like, majority of the time he hit it. So, like.
Oh, there's nothing greater than when you take that card and it's a 9 or an 8
and
and everyone's
you're
like,
doing something stupid and you throw it down and you're like, ah! Yeah, like, it's great. It's so exciting. So rageful. But yeah, no, that's a good rule. That's how I think of it now. But I didn't know that a 2 was supposed to hit a 13. I thought it was just with a 12.
I'm pretty sure it is because I double checked somebody had their hit card.
Their card.
And I was like, what does it say? What does it say? And I was like, yep, the 2-year-old does hit the 3-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I remembered it. Yeah, because like a 2-year-old can hit a 2-year-old, but a 3-year-old would get in trouble for hitting a 2-year-old.
hitting the 2-year-old.
Yeah.
That's such a
But
good way
2-year-old
to
wouldn't get in
remember
trouble for
it.
hitting a
I love
3-year-old.
that.
Yeah. Do you hit soft 18s with a 10?
When the dealer's showing a 10,
Mm-hmm.
soft 18, I wouldn't. I don't know what the book says.
I think
I
the
wouldn't.
book says yes.
To hit?
Yeah.
I've seen
But I
a soft
wouldn't.
18 hit and get 15 or 12 or something every time. And I'm like,
This is what
I'm
I
not
tell
going to hit a
people.
soft 18.
I say you have an 18. This is a decent hand. I'm like, there's very few cards that are going to help you with this hand. That's how I explain it to people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, because you're looking for an ace, 2, or 3.
Yep.
Anything else is going to move you backwards.
Or if you just want to make sure you don't, a 10, right? You stay at 18. Now
Yes.
you have a hard 18.
Right.
Same spot, right?
That's how I tell people. But yeah, I feel bad for Bridget because anytime I have players like that, that's what I'll tell them.
I would
That's
like to know
terrible.
what the hand was.
That's what I want to know because then I feel like I'd be able to understand what the dealer was thinking.
Yeah.
That's why I think it was like a basic strategy thing where she probably wasn't supposed to hit, so he just skipped her.
That's what I think to
And then she was like, wait, what? I would have taken a card.
Yeah.
Because she probably had like a 12. He probably had like a 6.
Oh my God, the dealer 6.
That's what I was thinking.
The dealer 6, you guys, if you're not players, if you have never gambled, don't ever hit when the dealer has a 6.
If you have a 2-digit hand, if you have a 12 or above.
12 and above, yeah.
If you have a 12 and above, and there's a 6 showing, you don't hit it.
Don't
you have a 12. And you're like, it's a 12. Your goal is to beat me. Your goal is not to get to 21.
I always tell people your decision is based off of what I have, not what you have.
Right.
Obviously, if you have an 11.
Right.
But still, your decision is based off of what the dealer is showing, not what your hand is.
I was like, you don't want to get to 21. You just want to beat me.
Right. Even if you beat me with a 12.
Right.
You beat me.
Right.
That's the point. You're trying to win.
Hey, do you ever like look at the table? Because sometimes I like do stupid shit. And you ever like look at the table and you go, you might be okay. There's a lot of 10s on the board.
Yeah.
You ever do that?
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I had like 4 people who had doubled and there was like all these cards down. And he was like, do I hit it or not? And I was like, I like just peeked under all of them and they were all low cards. And I was like, I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, yikes. But then I was like, I wouldn't. And they were like, why? I was like, I just wouldn't. You're probably going to bust. And they waved it. And then I hit a 10 and I busted it. And I was like, see? Because like there were so many small cards on the board. Like they were all double down hands. So they were all tiny cards. Like,
so.
And then I was like, there's got to be a 10 coming around. It's like, I wouldn't take the chance. But yeah, if you have a 12 and you don't want to piss everyone off your table off. Did I just speak English? If you don't want to piss everyone off at your table and you have a 12 and the dealer has a 6, you just wave it.
Stay.
Say no, thank you.
Stay and look like the hero.
Yes. Say no, ma'am, no ham, no turkey. And then let the dealer bust.
Yes. And
that would be fun to go over strategies at some point.
Yeah, because it's hilarious to me when you have the one guy in the group that knows basic strategy and nobody believes him.
Right.
And then they tell you, ask Krystal. Ask Krystal. She knows. Krystal, am I right? And I'm like, he's right.
He's right, yeah.
And they still don't believe us. They think we're on to them.
Right.
They think we're plotting against them. And sometimes I have to stop and I go, you guys, why? I don't get a bonus for taking your money from this company. I don't make anything more. I get minimum wage. I work off of tips. The more you win, the more I win. Some people it clicks. Some people still don't believe me.
Right.
They still think I get some massive bonus at the end of the year if I take a certain amount of money. But
everyone asks me that. No, I want to give you money. I want you to win. I want to have a good time at work. I want you to have a good time at work. I want you to make money, so I make money because that's what I'm there for.
Yeah.
And I will help you the best way I can. It does suck when you're giving like advice and it's just like a lose after lose after lose. And I'm like, shit.
That is the worst when somebody goes, so do I stay? Do I hit? Well, the book says to do this. They bust. And then again, well, the book says to do this. Double down. They lose. And you're like,
and then
"Oh."
at some point, I'm just like, clearly what I'm telling you is not working. So do whatever you want. Go with your first gut. I always tell people that. I'm like, first gut instinct, do it.
That's what I do the same thing. I'm like, I think you should listen to your gut. This is one of those shoes where you got to go with your gut.
Right.
Let's see how that works.
Right.
Like, last night, or one of the, I don't know, all the nights are the same. They're all the same. One of the nights I was at work. Same thing. One guy knew how to play. He was with like his family, and there's 3 ladies, another guy, and him. He knew basic strategy. Everyone's going off of gut. He colored up and he was like, I can't do this. I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
But what made it even more stressful is they were all winning. I'm talking.
Oh my
I have a 6.
God.
They hit a 14. They got a 2. They got 16. They're like, give me another one. I'm like, okay, 5. And I'm like,
What the fuck? Yes, I had a guy hitting 17s. And I shit you not, he was hitting 3s and 4s and 2s and 3s. And I was like,
yeah, at that point, you're like, throw the book out. Just,
all right, whatever's working.
yeah.
I had a table one time full of newbies and they were like having a blast. And this guy comes down, throws down our highest tiered player's card.
Oh,
and I look at him and he throws down $1,000. And I was like, have I told this story before?
I don't know.
I was like, are you a strictly strategy player?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, what do you mean? I was like, do you play strategy? He was like, yeah. And I was like, this probably is not going to be the table for you. I was like, because
there
we
were
were
people
not playing
there
strategy
already.
over
Oh,
here.
okay, yeah.
It was a bunch of newbies and they were just going wild. And I was just whatever.
Yeah.
They didn't care about strategy. So I was like, this is probably not the table for you. We're playing a little wild here. And he's like, I'll give it a chance, but thank you for telling me that. So he sits down, buys in, and they're saving the table.
Isn't that like
they're not playing strategy like overall? The reason there's strategy is because overall you're going to make money off strategy. It's just going to work. But they're not playing strategy, and he sits down and they're saving the table. And he's playing his strategy, but he's in third base. And like they're pulling these little cards and boom, I pull a 10 and it's like, what the fuck? Like they were saving the table and he's just laughing like he's having the time of his life. Me and him keep like
right. You keep
like,
looking at each other.
Like we're like, oh my God. And then like they colored up and left and he was like, I'm gonna leave too. I was like, I understand. And so he colored up. He was like, I appreciate you warning me though, but that was great.
That was
like,
fun. Yeah.
It was so fun. It was a good time. Sometimes I don't try. Like sometimes I'll try and help people. Like if they ask, they're like, I'm new.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh my God, sit down. Like I'll help you. I'll teach you. But sometimes people are just like, once I start to explain it and they're like, but it's a 12. And I'm like, right. But statistically, you don't, like, you might bust. You might as well waive it and hope I bust, you know,
right.
like save your hand, save your money. And then if they're like, then I'll just stop. Then I'll be like,
then
okay.
you stop
like,
giving
right.
advice. You stop helping. You're like, you know what? We're just going to do what you want to do.
I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But a majority of the time, strategy is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect system.
Over time, the more hours you play with strategy, you're supposed to win.
Right. More.
But what do we know?
Clearly not a lot. But
what do we know? We only deal these games for 8 hours every 6 days in a row sometimes. 10 days in a row sometimes. Crying on the table dealing blackjack.
Last year for March Madness, I worked 9 days straight.
I could not. I know I'm going to do it this next year.
But I did it to myself, though. Because there were certain days
you pick up a day or something?
There was a day that I really wanted to work. And last minute, a girl was like, I can't come in. I was like, I can. Let's get special permission.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up screwing myself and working 6 days in a row. But I made an extra $500 because I worked that one day. Compared to working the day that I was supposed to work, they make $500 more that day than the day I was supposed to work. So ended up working out.
Yeah, I mean.
But I've never been more drained because March Madness is nonstop.
Nonstop.
It is nonstop.
The moment
for
you walk
8 hours. Yeah. It's nonstop. And so like by the end, I think by like day 7, I was like, yikes.
Yeah.
And then day 9, I signed.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I signed, you know.
I power through it most of the time. I'm like mentally prepared and I'm like, all right, this is it. We're doing this for 2 weeks. We're going to just be exhausted. We're going to make a ton of money. Right. And then it starts to taper off.
Right.
That third, fourth week.
That's when you want to be tired though.
Yeah.
Because then other weeks it's not worth it to be tired and work 9 days. But that's a week that is worth it to be tired and work 9 days.
That's the only time of the year where you're really working overtime, most likely every day, and you're working 5, 6 sometimes
straight,
more than that. And there isn't another season here in Vegas that I can think of where it's longer than that, like 2-week span where you're working that much.
Yeah, March Madness is the busiest time in Las Vegas.
Besides
Super Bowl Sunday.
But then that's only like a weekend, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like March Madness.
It's like a 2-week process, yeah.
I mean, March Madness, how long is it? Isn't it like a 7-week run for basketball? Like that whole thing? I don't even know, but 2 weeks, like that solid 2 weeks is really busy.
Yeah, okay. So I think it's like final. I don't know. I thought it was 2 weeks. I thought it was 2 weeks long. But like final four
March
is
Madness, like the actual like tournament
like,
or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't even know what it is.
I just know there's 2 weeks during March and it's mid-March. It's actually like end of March, beginning of April.
That's so funny.
I think
is it the second week of March?
I think this year went to like April 4th. The first day is always the best day to work. That first weekend is always better than the second weekend. You still make good money the second weekend.
Yeah, you're still making a ton of money.
If you were to grind it out and be tired as fuck, it's the first 4 days.
Yeah.
But I've learned that about everything. Like the first day of any big event is always the best day. I think it's because everyone's got all their money still.
Yeah, they still have all their money.
Nobody's lost any money.
They haven't placed their bets on sports
During
yet.
March Madness, there was a video that I didn't know was being taken. It was being taken from slots of my roulette table. And I was in the video. But he was in slots. I didn't realize. I was busy. And it was like when you put all of your March Madness winnings on black and it hits green. And he was like, it was like $450. It wasn't that much. Yeah. But if you're a young kid and you're in Vegas and you come and you put $50 and you win $450, like, and then you go throw it on black, and I took it and it was up for like 3 hours. Someone sent it to me. One of the security guards sent it to me and was like, "Is this you?" It was up for like 3 hours and had like 6,000 views. Oh, yeah. And there I was just like, no emotion. I was in work mode. Yeah. No emotion because I was slammed. And
when we're that busy.
And we don't have muckers. So we're just like,
oh my God.
There's no muckers. Like there are moments that I don't even look at anybody. I don't even know who's at my table. Like I'm just mucking, pushing.
But I think that's it, right?
Okay. I think that's it. All right. Subscribe, follow.
Like. Yeah, we didn't do it again.
Share. I know. I was like, let me hit it before we sign off.
Yes. Subscribe wherever, follow wherever. We're everywhere. Links are everywhere. And don't forget, remember.
Tip your dealers. Tip your cocktail servers. And don't walk through the pit.
Don't walk through. Oh, were we supposed to talk about that?
We were supposed to talk about that.
You guys got to wait till the next one, episode 5.
Don't walk through the pit.
Okay. We will see you episode 5.
Yay.
Bye.